This is your one and only 𝐈𝐸𝐻81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and welcome back to another informational Age of Wonders 4 video. Today we're going to talk about the most broken unit in the game. Let's get to it. So what is the most broken unit in the game? It is the gold golem. This thing is absolutely insane. And before I tell you why it is insane, let's talk about how you get it. You need the tier 4 Materium Tome of the Golden Realm. For a mere 1,800 research, you can unlock the gold golem. Now this thing is expensive to craft and it does have a pretty hefty upkeep, but it is possible to lower those things depending on what race traits you pick and what other tomes you pick and stuff like that. But it's going to cost you 400 gold and 400 draft to summon the thing. Then it has an upkeep of 65 gold, 7 Imperium, and 5 mana. Now that may seem like a lot, and like I stated before, it is possible to reduce that a little bit, especially if it is in your hero's army. But when you start to look at the fact that other than a few support units, these are really the only attack units that you're going to need, you realize that you can start to delete a lot of your other units to make room for these units with their hefty upkeep cost. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, let's just go down the line of their abilities here. So their main attack is called Gilded Strike. This strikes an enemy unit. It has Demolisher, so it can damage fortified obstacles, and it also has the Gilded ability, which has a base 60% chance of inflicting Gilded for 1 turn. Gilded stuns the unit, preventing it from doing anything its next turn, and when the unit dies, the winner of the battle gains 20 gold per tier of that unit. So if it's a tier 3 unit, you gain 60 gold for killing it. On top of that, there's a pretty good chance that it's not going to be able to do anything the entire battle once you start attacking it with one of these, because it's just going to be stunned the entire time. And you're like, well, it's only a 60% chance for it to be stunned. Yes, that's true, but remember, once you've gotten up on top of the unit and you're close enough to attack, your next turn, you can attack 3 times, which each one of those times has a 60% chance to stun the unit its next turn. On top of that, for all of its action points, it has the Strike Gold ability, which deals damage to all gilded units within a 3 hex radius. If any of them are killed, this unit heals 10 points. That's not temporary hit points, that's real hit points. It just heals 10 real hit points. Now that alone is really strong and really good, but still balanced. Here's where it starts to get to be broken. It has First Strike. This means that when it's a unit's turn and that unit goes to attack it, it gets a retaliation attack, which has a 60% chance to gild whatever unit is attacking it, meaning that if that procs, it can stop the unit from ever attacking it in the first place. On top of that, it has the Golden Curse. Enemy melee attackers have a 60% base chance of becoming gilded. Once again, that is every time the unit hits it, so if the unit is up on top of it and strikes it 3 times, each one of those times it has a 60% chance of gilding itself. That's not all. When it is in defensive mode, the unit has unlimited retaliation attacks. Normally, a unit only gets 1 retaliation attack, so if a unit comes up and attacks it, it will retaliate. If it has First Strike, it retaliates before the other unit has a chance to attack. Then if another unit comes up and attacks it, it won't do anything because it's already used its retaliation attack. If you put one of these in defense mode, it can attack every single unit that comes up to attack it before that unit gets a chance to attack. It's also considered a polearm unit, so of course it has First Strike, it has the charge resistance, and it deals 40% extra damage against cavalry units and 40% extra damage against large target units, aka Giant Slayer. Now, if that's not all, this thing is also status effect immune, meaning it can't have any negative debuffs put on it. It's immune to all status effects. It's also immune to all morale type effects. Its morale is what its morale is, and it never gets any lower. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh my god, that's a broken unit. Yes, it is. But that's not all. There is an ability that you can get in the 5th tier tome of the Materium line of tomes from the Tome of the Creator called Eternal Earth. This is a unit enchantment spell, and it grants the units Undying, which restores them to life once upon death. This affects any elemental that you have, so every one of your golems, including the Golden Golem, will now have Eternal Earth and the Undying ability. Here's the thing about Undying. Undying states this unit will revive with 50% of its total HP after 2 turns of it being dead, and it can only be triggered once per battle. But really, that's all you need. Keep in mind that the HP that it regens is not temporary HP, it's real HP, and then if something is gilded next to this thing, it can use its Strike gold ability to gain an additional 10 HP, once again, not temporary HP. And these things, without any other type of buff, are born with 145 hit points. Half of that is 72. That's still a pretty chunky boy. But with a few buffs, and not even that many, I don't even know what all buffs mine have in this one, but mine have 169 HP. Now keep in mind, these are in the same army as my leader, which probably has something in there buffing them, but yeah, almost 170 HP. And that's just the base of what you can do with these things. That doesn't count any of the other crazy enchantments that you can get on them. For example, inside your Empire development, underneath the Order of Affinity tree, all the way at the very end, you have Knightly Orders. This states that units of legendary rank gain a buff depending on their unit type. If the unit is a mythic unit, which they are, they gain Order of the Indomitable, which states that this unit gains +1 strengthened, which increases its damage by 10%. This perk also gives it the regeneration ability, which regenerates it 6 HP on kill. Also note that the way that this reads, it is a stacking thing that happens every time it kills something. That strengthened doesn't go away until the end of combat. So if this thing kills 5 units, after it kills that 5th unit, it's going to do an additional 50% damage. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows with these things. They do have 2 weaknesses. One of which is kind of a weakness, but kind of not, because it gets shut down by the fact that every time the unit attacks it, it has a 60% chance of becoming gilded and being stunned, and that is units with Giant Slayer. If a unit has Giant Slayer and it's a melee unit, which most of the time they are, for example, whole units usually have Giant Slayer, they can do a lot of damage to these things and bring them down. But keep in mind, if you have Eternal Earth, they have to kill them twice, and they're most likely just going to be stunned the entire time. Their real weakness is ranged units. However, if they can close the gap on said ranged unit, that ranged unit is in most cases pretty screwed because they attack for 25 damage and they have a chance to gild the ranged unit every time they attack it, meaning that it'll just be stunned and not be able to run away, and they'll just be able to continue killing it. Now, of course, if you have something else that is status effect immune, then the gilded isn't going to make any difference because it's not going to be able to apply that status effect to your unit. But these units are relatively rare. I can't even think of another one that comes with this right offhand, but that would give one of these a run for its money. Hopefully it also has the Giant Slayer ability so it can work its way through that 145 HP before this unit has a chance to kill it. Keep in mind that it has to, in most cases, probably going to have to kill it twice because it just makes sense to get Eternal Earth on these things. So yeah, golden golems, broken is all get out. Definitely need a nerf. I would say the gilded ability needs to be dropped down to at least 30, if not less. Some other units have 30% chance, base chance for things. So changing these to a 30% chance doesn't seem too far off and would make the gilded proc a little bit less. However, the base chance is exactly what it says. It's the base chance. You can increase the base chance by reducing something's resistance to status effects. And honestly, the golden curse ability needs to just be removed from it completely. It's kind of ridiculous that this thing has dual chances, not only when it's attacking you, but also when it's being attacked, to stun whatever it's dealing with for 1 turn. But those are just my suggestions on how to nerf this thing. Let me know if you think it needs a nerf and what you think about this unit down there in the comments. Obviously, I think it's a pretty broken unit, but I'm eager to hear your all's thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful or informational in any way, consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other Age of Wonders 4 videos. And if you're looking for some more Age of Wonders 4 content, you can find a link to another one of my videos on the screen right now. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.